In the Pliocene epoch, these two continents were isolated, divided by a vast ocean millions of years before the land bridge formed.
For millions of years, South America was an island. Nowhere else on Earth could you find such a concentration of diverse megafauna, a stark contrast to the ecosystems developing across the Bering Strait.
Clinging to these ancient rafts of vegetation, these rodents and reptiles embarked on a remarkable, if accidental, voyage westward.
Arriving from Africa, these rodents were about to disrupt a delicate balance untouched for millions of years.
This stunning diversity is a result of adaptive radiation. As new niches opened up, here we see the arrival of the first placental predator.
This placental invader, the coati, represents a new threat. The native fauna are helpless as the delicate food web begins to unravel.
The arrival of these skunks and rodents marks an escalating disruption. As they disembark,
A rare counter-invasion. These colossal terror birds are making their first major push northbound, staking their claim in the ancient scrublands of Texas. Driven by instinct, the giant sloth pushes ever northward, rising to its full height to reach the canopy leaves. A journey spanning millennia begins here.
Here, at the collision of these plates, we witness the Earth reborn, a violent yet beautiful process.
And so, the Isthmus of Panama emerged, a crucial bridge that separated two mighty oceans and reshaped life on the continents.
This is the Great Exchange, the moment two worlds collide across the newly formed land bridge. Separated by millions of years, these titans meet. This is evolutionary shock.
Though heavily armored, the massive glyptodont faced a formidable mismatch against the swift and coordinated attacks of the dire wolf pack. The megalonyx, a giant among ground sloths, has made an unexpected journey north, demonstrating a remarkable adaptability to these icy conditions.
As the climate shifts, these small migrants, like the armadillo and the porcupine,
The short-faced bear, a giant from the north, pushes into the humid tropics, asserting its dominance in this new world.
The smilodon, a master of ambush, uses the dense undergrowth to its advantage. Every movement is calculated, silent.
Here we see the raw power of the dire wolf pack. They move as one, isolating the weak to assert their dominance over the savanna.
The silence here is unnatural. Once, this forest echoed with the cries of terror.
The arrival of these massive herds introduced unprecedented competition for the native South American herbivores.
The arrival of these new grazers initiates a drastic niche collapse, pushing the native giants, such as the toxodon, to the brink.
these massive megatherium use their enormous claws not just for foraging, but for defense.
Here we see the dominance of the glyptodont's defensive armor. These overbuilt defenses are simply too much for the attacking predator.
The Virginia opossum is a master of survival. When faced with danger, it feigns death, a remarkable display of resilience.
This is a prime example of climatic asymmetry. These camelids are successfully navigating the humid tropics.
Here, the advance halted. This mountain pass was the climatic failure point, a cold wall the tropical animals simply could not overcome. This environment fostered resilience. It's precisely why the northern fauna evolved tougher, facing constant competition and the unforgiving cold.
This unforgiving landscape exerted constant evolutionary pressure. It was a hardening process.
With fewer predators and gentle competition, the megafauna of ancient South America evolved in remarkable peace.
This is the Great Imbalance, a massive invasion force, unprecedented in scale.
These majestic creatures, unknowingly embarking on a journey north, were utterly unprepared for the competition that awaited them.
Here, at the Isthmus, north truly meets south, a crucible of coexistence.
These placental predators possess a decisive advantage, allowing them to dominate the South American landscape and successfully ambush native herbivores.
The arrival of the short-faced bear marks a profound ecological disruption. The dire wolf doesn't rely on size, but on strategy. By working together, the pack can bring down prey many times their weight.
These ancestral jaguars, originating in North America, proved incredibly adaptable.
We glide over what were once the domains of giant predators.
When threatened, this armored giant proves unbreakable. A stunning display of prehistoric defense. Despite their sluggish reputation, these massive sloths were formidable fighters.
The hummingbird's long beak allows it to access nectar deep within these flowers, giving it a distinct floral niche advantage over other species.
Limited, yet highly successful avian dispersal have allowed these tropical species to thrive in this new northern environment.
This visualization demonstrates how climatic asymmetry shapes the invasion. The cold front sweeps south along.
Every journey has its crucible. For these migrants, the sudden freeze acts as a brutal form of selection.
This ecosystem thrives on specialization. With the sloths feeding high and the glyptodonts grazing low.
As the invading ungulates push the native species aside, we witness competitive replacement. For the surviving Sanu, the twilight hours offer a brief reprieve.
After 2 million years, the continent was utterly transformed. The ancient fauna gave way to new ecosystems.
Despite the constant threat of predators, these marsupials, like the opossum, have found a way to flourish, fearlessly scavenging the forest floor.
North America mostly unchanged. Its fauna survivors persist.
Hypothesis: South America was doomed before the interchange. This evolutionary isolation shaped its unique fauna.
This is the crucible of the Great American Interchange. Continuous biotic pressure shapes the landscape.
This is the evolutionary arena of North America. Here, heightened selection pressure forces both predator and...
In this gentler evolutionary arena, the absence of major threats allowed giant herbivores like the toxodon. The interchange solidified, creating a unique tapestry of life. For millions of years, the great beasts of the Pleistocene, creatures that had roamed the earth for millions of years, were beginning to vanish.
The disappearance of the megafauna coincides precisely with the arrival of man.
The rapid warming of the interglacial period drastically reshaped the landscape, leading to the decline of the great megafauna like the woolly mammoth.
The alternative hypothesis suggests that the pathogens didn't arrive by sea, but over land.
What you are seeing is the catalyst for the Younger Dryas, a controversial theory suggesting an extraterrestrial impact caused the sudden global cooling.
The weakening magnetic shield allows dangerous levels of UVB flux to cascade toward the planet.
As the continents connected, a new ruler emerged. The Smilodon now dominates the savanna.
The great beasts of South America, once thriving, are slowly vanishing. We are witnessing the silence they leave behind.
Despite the overwhelming odds, the ground sloth demonstrates remarkable prolonged resistance, a final display of dominance before the arrival of the new predators.
As the sun sets on their era, these magnificent armored giants find their habitat fragmented, retreating to the few remaining safe zones.
The introduction of these large herbivores is causing a significant vegetation turnover, reshaping the South American. The symbiotic relationship between birds and flora is reshaping the landscape.
While seemingly minor, these movements signify crucial small-scale successes.
These tropical giants, accustomed to warmer climes, found their path north blocked by the newly formed Andes. The successful invaders, these North American camelids, have spread deep into the Andean foothills, thriving in this rugged landscape.
Bathed in the warm, humid light of the golden hour, the mastodons wade ashore.
This remarkable adaptive radiation allowed rodents to conquer nearly every biome on Earth,
From the dense forest to the arid desert,
This explosion of color and life represents millions of years of evolutionary success, as these incredible birds.
the collision of two continents forged this new world. A landscape where the descendants of the North Sea, relegated to fragments, only a few giant ground sloths and toxodons survive.
This is the ecological seesaw in action. The exchange was far from equal.
For thousands of years, these plains belonged to the mammoths. Humans would eventually arrive, but not yet.
Across the continents, the megafauna vanished. We are witnessing the Great Acceleration, the worldwide extinction phase.
The last giants of South America, the megatherium and the glyptodon, are no more.
As the climate shifted, the great beasts of North America, the mammoths, began their final retreat into the snow.
The giants are gone now, vanished into the turmoil. These swamps, once dominated by huge
The Great American Biotic Interchange shaped this land. Today, we see a stabilized ecosystem.
This ancient landscape, shaped by the endless competition between predator and prey. The formation of the Isthmus of Panama triggered one of the greatest natural experiments in history. The war is not caused by nature, but by animals against animals. Competition is the ultimate driver of extinction.
This serene scene underscores the lesson from Gabby.
Tracing the footsteps of the past, from Patagonia to the tundra, we see the interconnectedness of this land.
The silence is the loudest scar. 1 million years ago,
with the collapse of the apex giants, the jaguar has stepped into a stable new role, calmly asserting its dominance over the riverbank. As the continents merged, these magnificent beasts brought a new dynamic to the southern lands, forever changing the balance of power. The Great Interchange fundamentally reshaped the Amazon. Here, a blended ecosystem thrives.
Were introduced from the north, these resilient camelids have adapted remarkably to the thin air and treacherous slopes of the Andes.
These massive herds are the architects of this biome turnover. By constantly grazing and trampling the
These remarkable rodents, from the lounging capybara to the scurrying chinchillas. The expansion is unmistakable. Driven by warming climates, these South American natives are pushing further north than ever before.
Observe the spotted salamander and the green frog. Their journey into these South American wetlands.
In this delicate ecosystem, a new equilibrium has been reached. The ancient hunt continues.
Across these ancient land bridges came wave after wave of migration. A grand
South America, drifting alone for epochs. This profound isolation, spanning millions of years,
Gabby begins.
Driven by an ancient instinct, this massive herd surges southwards, a relentless tide of hooves shaking the forested corridor. This massive surge, driven by forces yet unknown, pushes north. What happens when evolutionarily distinct species meet for the very first time? Here, the ground sloth encounters the modern horse. The reign of the terror bird was ending. This desperate challenge against the new predator would ultimately fail. This ambush-style hunting, perfected over millennia in the north, proved devastatingly effective in the southern jungles.
These ancient predators are proving incredibly resilient. In just a short time, they've begun to master the scents and sounds of this tropical world.
Weighing over a ton, the short-faced bear tears through the canopy, an unstoppable force in this humid realm.
As the climate shifts, we're witnessing unprecedented ecological blends. Here,
driven by the need for new pastures, these guanaco ancestors are achieving the impossible. These new grazers, the quarter horses and llamas, are fundamentally reshaping the biome of the open plains.
Tanjas, the toxodonts' charge is futile. These native herbivores are simply outmatched by the agility of the wild horses. As their habitat shrinks, these native browsers are pushed further into the margins, hiding nervously in the thick understory.
In a world without large predators, the small inherit the earth. This teeming forest floor demonstrates the incredible advantage of being diminutive.
The Virginia opossum, North America's only marsupial, displays remarkable resilience.
Predatory reshuffling complete. South America now ruled by northern carnivores.
Herbivore guilds reshaped forever. Grazers dominate where browsers once ruled. The dietary shift is evident.
The Great American Biotic Interchange, or GABI, echoes into the present.
This time-lapse captures the worldwide transition, where massive ice sheets retreated.
The great reshaping is complete. Across these vast new savannas and endless wetlands,
these powerful carnivores, the jaguar, cougar, and wolf, are direct descendants of a migration that began millennia.
Their giant forms may have vanished, but the legacy of the Xenarthrans endures.
The parrots and hummingbirds are the unexpected winners, expanding north and diversifying across the canopy with remarkable resilience.
By constantly moving and grazing in synchronized patterns, these horses and camelids act as ecosystem engineers.
Alone. Invasive competition as powerful as natural catastrophes.
they called it the Silent War. 1,000 species fighting for the same ground.
The ecological push and pull is stark, while native bison retreat to the cool edges. The biodiversity patterns we observe across these regions today are the long-term result of this great interchange between the continents.
The opossum is a symbol of unexpected survival. It is this remarkable adaptability that allows them to thrive in even the harshest environments.
The long-term settlement of these highlands by the camelid ancestors is a testament to their remarkable resilience in this environment.
By grazing at the water's edge and climbing for high branches, these rodents are stabilizing the food web, proving essential ecological roles.
Modern predators owe oricans to GABI.
Adaptability is key to survival. Here, the North American cougar navigates the high humidity of the tropics.
The Bering Strait fractured, and the continents collided.
Here, in the heart of South America, equilibrium has finally been achieved.
And then, we arrived. The Holocene era began, and the reign of the great beasts came to a close.
The megafauna, once rulers of this land, now retreat into the fog of history, their time finally at an end.
The age of giants is over. Across these silent tundras and forests, modern biodiversity here is a direct product of Gabi, the jaguar, the capybara, the caiman, all living proof of a shared history.
From the peaks of the Andes to the heart of the Amazon, the legacy of the North echoes through every ecosystem.
Sanu legacy, nearly erased, but remembered in fossils.
They were the undisputed predators of ancient plains, powerful and terrifying, but even dominance eventually fades. Natural selection is a harsh mistress. For every species lost to the mists of time, another rises to take its place in the sun. Final teaching: competition can be as deadly as climate or asteroids. Our natural world is facing a silent threat. Invasive species are creeping in, disrupting the balance and destroying native habitats.
The journey reveals the Earth's ancient story, connecting south to north, a majestic tapestry.
The land bridge fades, but its legacy remains. The Great American Biotic Interchange